Hello everyone. Today is August the 12th and I'm trading on the MNQ today. We didn't really have very good signals this morning. This here was the CPI that came out this morning. You can see there's a big 200-point candle on that, and I know better than to try and trade those. But we really range trade most of the day. Now I've got this on a 2-minute chart, but what you can see is what my indicators here look like, and really super choppy on this. Now what it was doing, that every time it would push up, I was trading these rejections up here. So in other words, on a 2-minute, I like to trade the rejections on the MNQ. This was a really nice one. This was a nice one, and I was in this trade when I took this clear into this trade here before I got out. And I can't remember which one it was, but I traded one of these and it kind of chopped around. It was probably this one right here and got out. And then I let it relax after so many times, a lot of times, that this will actually break through. So but later on, let me bring up my other chart. I also trade on a 5-minute. Now you can see we had a long right here early in the morning, and I wasn't awake yet to do that one there, so I missed this trade. And there was CPI where it shot up, but we had this really nice short right here. Now what I did was I waited till the short printed, and we had a level down here, and I didn't want to trade that, so I waited. It pushed up to here, and I've got a trend line on here with a 20 on the sensitivity. So I like to trade on a strong trend, but it had pushed up, so I knew I wanted to short. I entered here. Now it did push up about 15 points on me here, and then it made a really nice drop right there. So this is high trade. I'm just trading one micro up over 200 today with that. With even with commissions, I'm up over around 220 today with even with commissions. So it worked out really nice today. It's just a really super choppy market after these big moves. So I'm done for the day. I like to finish up before noon, and I got out on this candle right here, which is about 11:30. And so anyway, I was in this trade for nearly a half an hour, and was watching it. So it's a little exhausting watching a really long trade. At least it is for me, because I like to micro scalp. The thing that I want to mention is the way that I trade is I'm using this. If I'm trading on the 5-minute chart and I'm using our long and short signals, I'm using the cumulative delta. So what happens is that I want to make sure that the cumulative delta is in my favor. Now, right now, you can see the cumulative delta. It runs tick by tick. It's actually right here at lunchtime, and it's pushing right back up here. This is a live market right now, and you can see that we're starting to push. Now, what I like to do is when it made the drop right here, we were like negative 2,800. And it was red, so the cumulative delta becomes my friend. So I want to make sure that all of this lines up. So we broke out of the bottom of this channel. We broke down out of this level. We broke a trend line. We had a short signal, and the cumulative delta was in my favor. So this is why I took it. Now, it was still a little bit choppy, but I was able to get a pretty good trade out of it. I do the same thing on our 2-minute. In other words, if I'm going to trade a rejection trade on a 2-minute chart, I'm looking at the cumulative delta on a 5-minute chart. And let me bring this back over. This here is our 2-minute chart. So in other words, what I'm doing is if we're in the red, I'm going to trade a rejection. Now, once it gets down here and I want to trade some of these like support levels down here, I go over and look at the 5-minute chart, and I want to see if it's green, and I'm going to trade longs, or I'm going to trade rejections off of this right here to grab a little micro scalp. So this is how I use this. And if it's really not in good numbers, like these really wasn't good trying to take the longs in here. So I was just taking mostly the shorts just because we had a lot of red on the cumulative delta today. Just so you know, I like to micro scalp on a 2-minute, and I'm just trying to go for 5, maybe 10 points with a real tight trail on there. And sometimes I'll get, a 15 point out of it with a trail, depending on how hard the candle moves down. But I'm trying to get at least 5 points on each one of them with just one micro, and that's fine. I can micro scalp until I get a signal. Now, once the 5-minute actually will print a signal. Now this is where I'm going to move, provided that we don't have any other real strong support down underneath here. If we had a whole bunch of these blue levels down here, I would not trade that. Now Our indicators are all our tools are $49 for the entire year, and our levels indicator, which is these blue and pink, these are lines of support. These really work well, and these allow me to micro scalp. These are $9 for the entire year. You can check them out on our website. I'll have the link in the bottom of the description below. Thanks, happy trading, and we'll catch you in the next video.